We tell ourselves a story about where progress comes from. It arrives in a vacuum, hitting the mind in a single, unblemished flash of brilliance. We picture Isaac Newton sitting quietly under a tree, waiting for the laws of physics to simply drop into his lap. The solitary intellectual, waiting for a signal from the void. This expectation of effortless brilliance causes a specific kind of paralysis. When we assume that a monumental discovery must arrive fully formed, we set a standard that no human process can actually meet. By obsessing over that instant of arrival, we lose sight of the messy, error-filled construction project that makes the arrival possible in the first place. To see how deeply this fear of messiness runs, look at a classic exercise used by IDEO President Tim Brown called 30 Circles. Given 60 seconds to turn these shapes into recognizable objects, most adults freeze. They apologize for their drawings. They begin rejecting their own bots before they can even reach the page. The exercise reveals a learned inhibition. We are conditioned to prioritize a flawless final product over the high volume of rough, imperfect iterations required to actually find a solution. If we want to understand how significant ideas and fully realized humans actually develop, we have to move past the myth of the solitary spark. We have to look at how different pieces collide to form a system. Author Stephen Johnson identifies a governing law for this kind of development called the adjacent possible. You cannot skip steps in progress. You can only explore the rooms that share a door with your current position, building on the platforms and tools that are already available in your environment. When Tim Berners-Lee created the World Wide Web, he didn't invent a new world from scratch. He took existing internet protocols and linked them with a standardized framework for sharing pages. Innovation is rarely a giant leap. It is a systematic exploration of the immediate boundaries of what is possible right now. Navigating those boundaries requires what Johnson calls liquid networks. A vague intuition, a slow hunch, only matures into a discovery when it physically collides with a missing piece of data from someone else's incomplete project. In product design, Tim Brown describes the deliberate practice of forcing these collisions as radical empathy. When a medical center in St. Louis needed to design a new wing, an IDEO researcher faked a foot injury and checked into the emergency room with a hidden camera to experience the patient journey directly. Being wheeled through bland, indistinguishable corridors by a stranger revealed a set of latent needs, feelings of powerlessness and disorientation, that the hospital's administrative data could never capture. Breakthroughs don't happen in sterile isolation. They surface when we intentionally collide our assumptions with the messy, uncomfortable reality of the world outside our office. This same structural logic, connecting fragmented pieces into a functional system, is what allows us to construct a human identity. Psychiatrist Carl Jung referred to this internal version of exploring the adjacent possible as individuation. Jung argued we are born fragmented. To become whole, we must reconcile our persona, our social mask, with our shadow, the repressed instincts we hide. Individuation pulls these disparate fragments into the center. By acknowledging rejected pieces, we form a balanced structure Jung called the self. Modern research and ancient symbols both visualize this exact process. The self isn't a single point of origin. It is the resulting connection between our conscious choices and our unconscious history. Just as an accidental error in a lab can reveal a new scientific law, the imperfect parts of our past are not failures. They are the raw materials we use to build a coherent identity. From the scale of global technology to the scale of the individual mind, progress follows a shared blueprint. Both require taking fragmented pieces and forcing them into a functional relationship. In 1957, researchers realized they could use the acoustic signal of the Sputnik satellite to track its location in space. By simply reversing that connection, they discovered they could use satellites to track objects on Earth, creating the foundation for GPS. This shows us that a breakthrough isn't a sudden gift, it's a successful link. It is taking something meant for one purpose, like a satellite signal or a repressed instinct, and finding its essential utility within a larger system. Stop waiting for a solitary bolt of lightning. Write down your hunches. Acknowledge the messy parts of yourself you've been hiding, and open the door right in front of you.